Embrace the dark sensation. Rise from the ashes. Run by, embrace the pain. Despise through the carnage. Run rise, conquer fear, no compromise. Rise against, stand as one. Bask in the pain, second to none. Destruction.
It's Thursday, and you know what that means. Welcome to Max Wrestling, episode 492. This is your captain speaking with the one we call El Jefe, Moses Marquez, here to discuss every single twist and swerve in pro wrestling.
That's right, and a whole bunch of them coming out. Liv Morgan breaks the internet. Boy, good God, does she ever. Speaking of people breaking stuff, Nick Neiman broke the system. He is the new TNA World Champion. We'll get into that and a whole bunch more. Blood and Guts happens. Plus, we hear from both Cypher and the television champion, Mike Larkin, ahead of their clash next week at our upcoming special event, PromoSlam. And the captain and Chad have finally succeeded in canceling Ryan Squared. Find out how this week. Oh my God, we should all be just giddy with anticipation. I know I am. So make sure you subscribe right here on the YouTube. It's Max Wrestling's YouTube. Follow us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcast. Head on over to the beautifully redone website, maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com, for all your leaks and a whole bunch more.
Yes. So, skipping shit Marseille this week because we got quite a bit to get through. Slammiversary was this past weekend. I think we said on the last episode we were going to predict it this week because we got the weeks wrong.
Yep.
Fortunately, we did manage to predict it in time before the pay-per-view. And I really wish we'd have predicted it on the show because actually, I think we all did pretty okay. We only got like 2 or 3 wrong each.
I was literally just going to say the same thing. I said the one time we go into an Impact, or I keep doing that, TNA show, a pay-per-view, and we're blind as a bat. And we're like, okay, well, this is probably, we'll get like 2 right. No. Nuh-uh. I think I really want to say me and Beer only missed 2. I want to say only 2.
Yeah, something like that. And we always say TNA is so difficult to predict. And the amount of times that we predicted a pay-per-view and been like, okay, so he has to lose the title this time. All except one title changed hands at Slammiversary. Actually 2 titles, and both of those were women's. So Militia retained the tag team titles. Jordan Grace obviously retained the Knockouts title, but every other male title changed hands. Yep. So we got PCO is the new digital media champion.
Nice.
I haven't actually managed to catch Slammiversary yet, but I hear PCO and AJ Francis put on a banger, and I never thought I would hear that.
I haven't. So I caught, me, I'm the highlight guy. I got to go looking for highlights. That was not on the highlight list, and now it is. Like, I need to go find it because if it was above average, it was probably good. But we know PCO to have good matches, okay? For a guy in his 50s, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Considering he's such a bizarre gimmick, too. Like, he's very much a gimmick guy.
He's a gimmick, all right. Goddamn Frankenstein.
It was all the Canadian International Heavyweight title was also on the line, but yeah, PCO is the new digital media champion. Mike Bailey, yes. I think this is the most shocking result of the night. Defeated Mustafa Ali for the X Division title.
The chicanery didn't happen. They tried to do the Montreal screw job. It was a great spot. It's a great spot.
Not shocking because it's Mike Bailey. Because I mean, we've been talking about him for over a year now, and how much of an ass kicker he is. But great. I thought we were like riding this train for Ali for a while.
The Ali train that would never stop, right? We thought it never would, and hey, look at that.
I'm wondering if we're gonna have like a campaign for him to get it back.
Please. It's political season over here in the States, so yeah. It's perfect time. The perfect time. I'm
probably gonna get some heat for this, but I wonder if Ali's gonna stage like getting shot.
Oh God damn!
This is TNA we're talking about. They like to think outside the box.
They have willingly killed competitors on their television show, so I'm sure that they could copy this, no problem. Or have it be like Mike Bailey kicks his ear off or something. Oh, you cut my ear. I can totally see something like that. Maybe not like an assassination or whatever the fuck, but like he gets an ear injury and just plays it up. And you know how goddamn either hated or beloved fucking poor Ali would get for this skit. He would get more over. That's a given. That is a given. But it's Are you catching heat or are people getting the choke?
He could absolutely play off an injury, because of course Bailey won by submission, so he could just like come out with a bandage on his ear.
I tapped because of the pain in my ear.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Ollie.
The Systems tag team were finally taken down as ABC defeated Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards.
Yeah.
I mean, about time, because I kind of think the tag team, even though Moose had his title for longer, I kind of think the tag titles ran their course sooner because ABC have been so hot.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing, though. Too, at least that's what I. Well, then again, this is I have to keep reminding myself. This is old. I mean, old Impact / TNA would look at ABC and say, "Oh, you guys can be champions forever."
Yeah.
This new TNA is like, "Hey, well," and now it's like, "Hey, what happened to the guys that were champions forever?" Now we get them back, and it looks like their animosity against each other, whatever tension they had, is, I don't want to say gone, but they're back on the right page.
Yeah. And that's another thing, because obviously Moose has been going from challenger to challenger, whereas it's just been ABC fucking with the system.
Yeah. A little too much.
Ash by Elegance got another shot at the Knockouts title, lost again. So clearly they're not pushing her.
Well, yeah. Well, then again, let's look at how big of a star Jordan Grace is. Let's just be like that. That's what it is. I mean, she transcends 2 fucking companies, for crying out loud.
Yeah, Jordan Grace has become the safest bet on a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost guarantee it's going to be Juggernaut Driver, Jordan Grace retains.
She is what Deonna Purrazzo was in Impact.
Yeah.
The safest bet alive.
And obviously they're keeping her strong because keeps crossing over into WWE. And I think her contract is up within the next year. And clearly she's going to NXT.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously going to NXT. Which
Brad.
It's fine. You know, she's been in TNA for a while now. And I think we've suspected that she only signed her extension because at the time, Scott D'Amore was still there anyway. And she's very much a Scott D'Amore girl.
Aren't they all?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of them are kicking themselves. Well, I mean, no, TNA is doing well, but at the same time, it was still a dick move.
And I think that's probably why we're still so salty about it, and gonna be for a little. I mean, I don't know when we'll get over it. One of these days, and it ain't gonna be tomorrow.
Never.
But it's like, I mean, probably never, because it was a total dick move. This guy brought you back from obscurity, pure, plain and simple obscurity, and then you were like, "Hey, thanks, bud," right off a cliff.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, there you go.
And as for the main event, finally, Moose has been dethroned. Nick Nemeth is on top of the outside mainstream world right now. Global champion, mega champion, and now the TNA world champion.
It's Kenny Omega Light.
Yeah, but even though it was pretty big that Nick Nemeth came out as TNA champion, I think also the fact that Josh Alexander turned heel and just went after Joe Hendry was surprising.
A little bit. Then again, it's call it jealousy. Yeah. Everybody wants to be Joe Hendry. Everybody loves Joe Hendry right now. You say his name and he appears. He might literally pop through your window in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I wonder if, obviously, Joe Hendry's been making a lot of appearances in NXT. and Ethan Page is now the NXT champion. So I do wonder if we're going to see Josh Alexander pop up in NXT now, and maybe get a reunion with Ethan Page.
Here's the fun thing. Not only would we get that, we would get, as many people were proclaiming, a younger, healthier version of Kurt Angle. Obviously not perked out, but I mean that's different. That's different Kurt style. That's different Kurt stuff right there. But I mean, Josh Alexander is a walking weapon, as he was proclaimed beautifully, and he would fit the WWE mold like really fucking well. Truth be told, especially under Triple H. You know, you worry about it with Vince. You know what I mean? He had amateur wrestler after amateur wrestler after amateur wrestler come in and do fuck all. Most of them fucking left. A goddamn former gold medalist who they wanted to hype the hell out of ended up playing fucking football. So, I mean, now we're over that, hopefully. And Josh Alexander is way better as a pro wrestler than Gable Steveson was anyway. Please don't suplex me. And he's a dude where you can put him in NXT and he can win the NXT championship and it not phase you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing. It's not it's a downgrade. It's like, no, it's Josh Allen, because they're using NXT to that level on the main anyway. So it's like it is finally a third brand. It's still very much developmental, but it is actually an actual true third brand. They're branching it out the way it should be. Bring your top guys over here. Bring your low guys over there. You know, hey, who brought the kid in here? Like, you know, you got to make those jokes or whatever, because, you know, the 20-something year veterans, also 20-something year veterans in active. That's different kind of 20-year veteran.
Yeah, it's very much like, I think what Triple H wanted to do with the Black and Gold, where, you know, he had these superstars in NXT, but Vince didn't want no part of them, or he would use them and have no idea how to use them.
Yes.
Whereas obviously Sean is building these young talent who, unlike the Black and Gold brand, are not established stars in like Ring of Honor or, you know, Defiance or whatever.
It's like you may know of them because like you were like hardcore onto the scene, but a lot of these dudes aren't the 18, 17, 15, 16, 17 year veterans, you know, the multiple time Ring of Honor world champions, the guys that hung out in Japan, you know, like, as you put beautifully, it's not that anymore. It's not the invasion of fucking Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn.
Now, these guys are not Kevin Steen, they're not El Generico, they're not Johnny Gargano, they're not Tommaso Ciampa. They are pretty much starting out. So I think Triple H had that advantage where we knew who they were. So obviously they got big quickly. But then, of course, Vince didn't know what to do with them because he doesn't pay attention to anything outside of WWE.
Yep.
But Sean's developing these young talents who don't have all the experience that these veterans have. So when they do develop very well, and then Triple H has got room for them on the main roster, and obviously he's got the experience with the rookies from running NXT before, it's a beautiful marriage.
Mm-hmm. It is. It really is. And then again, those guys work so well with each other. They've worked so well with youth. I don't think anybody's brought that part up. You guys remember who Bryan Danielson went and trained with when he was a young lad? Shawn fucking Michaels. And I mean, I don't know if we've ever used that before, like back when Triple H was running NXT, of thinking about who actually ran a school and taught people the right way, and saying, like, how come Sean's not running the thing? We understand that, you know, Triple H is, you know, the next of kin and blah, 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 blah. But, like, why isn't Sean doing it? Now that Sean's doing it, it's blossoming. It is literally blossoming. They are taking full advantage of creativity, of personality, of charisma, just everything. Everything is up a few notches. A buddy, no, not my buddy, one of my older brothers was like, "Hey, I turned on NXT. Why do I feel like I'm watching like the Attitude Era?" And I'm like, "Because it's literally written by the dudes in the Attitude Era." And he's like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Sean and Triple H," and he was baffled. "Oh shit, I thought Vince still ran things." I was like, "You've been out of the game for quite some time, my man." I said, "Vince is out. Triple H is in." I said, "We're leaning more towards wrestling now." I said, "They're not afraid to say the word wrestling these days." I was like, "They're not also bringing in like giant, like how we just discussed, like giant established stars. It's like they're actually growing people. They're making them good. Whether you like them right now, you're gonna like them by the end of our project. It's like that's
Yeah.
their mentality, and it's working beautifully.
I think the only exception is they are seemingly harvesting big female talent from other companies.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, they're still, I wouldn't say, as big as your Tommaso Ciampas or your Kevin Steens. Like, they're
No.
known, but they're not very well known because Ring of Honor was still um, not mainstream, but a lot of people watched it online at the time. So a
It
lot of
was
people still followed Ring of Honor.
again. It was the indie boom. That's what I
Yeah.
call it. I call it the indie boom. There was a time. There was a time and a period where WWE was WWE, and a lot of people were looking for something else. And a good chunk of people went to Japan, and a good other chunk of
Hmm.
people decided to go like, oh, well, what's this Ring of Honor thing? And Ring of Honor was. I forget where they were fucking like based out of. I want to say somewhere up east in New York or somewhere in that area, but it was literally you would see because I remember watching like the older episodes, like you would literally see like some former WWE, like the world's greatest tag team was there, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. They were there. They were two-time Ring of Honor world champions. Uh, you'd see guys like maybe you didn't know, but like if you didn't know Kevin Steen, and a lot of people didn't,
Hmm.
maybe you knew an Eddie Edwards. You know, maybe you knew who was another big guy that they had there for a while. Oh God, no, we can't talk about him. He's a bad guy. So that's a bad example. You can't talk about Michael Elgin anymore. Um,
Eesh.
you see what I mean? But that was the whole point. Is there was recognizable names, and then within that, and this is all for the exploring fans, the ones that went to Japan, you saw like guys like the Bucks and Kenny and Okada and Naito and Tanahashi and the names and the names and the names, and sometimes you would then branch to Ring of Honor, and sometimes Ring of Honor would branch to Japan. And then all those branches would randomly somehow branch to fucking Mexico. And again, that indie boom for a while literally had people jumping up and down the goddamn globe like it's World Cup time. You know what I mean? Just watching it all. Oh, hey, that's fucking Egypt versus Iran. Fuck it. You know? Why? Because sport.
It's happening. I'm watching it.
I'm watching it.
Uh, yeah, that was the indie boom back then. I think now we're in the international boom because a lot of these
Yes.
women that WWE are hiring are coming from Japan and Mexico.
You call it the international boom. I call it the you're finally looking for fucking talent boom. You are taking these stars that may not be as well known as the Mercedes Monets, as the Sasha. I was just gonna repeat her fucking name. As the Liv Morgans, as the Rhea Ripleys. They're not that gigantic, but maybe in this corner of the world, they're
Yeah.
ridiculously big. You know, think of the Julias that's still on her way. Unfortunately, I think she's still battling injury, something like that. But she's still on her way. They just, like I said, they just brought in what's young lass's name?
Stephanie
Uh,
Vacker.
yes, they just brought in Stephanie Vacker, and already, already she's taking at least the social media team by fucking storm, which is something.
Yeah.
Which is
There, se-
something.
there seems to be like one every week or every month. We've now got Delta on our way too.
Mm-hmm. Again,
Um,
you're bringing out the talents from the we can't see them or we refuse to see them because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to be that big of an a-hole this morning. And, you know, I want to bring them to the big spotlight. If they flourish, they flourish. If they flounder, they flounder, but they're taking chances on people. It's no longer the former, fitness star that we're going to train to be a wrestler. How long was Aaliyah in fucking NXT?
not very long before they moved her up.
Okay, then I'm thinking of the wrong
Oh
one.
wait,
Who
no.
was the?
Yeah, it was a couple of years, I think.
I was gonna say, well, was it a couple? Who was the broad I am thinking of then that was there for goddamn ever? Maybe it was Aaliyah. Maybe it's I could have sworn it was some. Maybe it was Aaliyah.
Yeah,
Could
maybe
have
it
been
was.
somebody else. I remember there was a young lady that did the new version of the Tough Enough or whatever, and she was just there, and for years on end had mightily improved and had been in NXT. I want to say 4 or 5 years. And it was like, how the hell are you still here? because she had the look. She didn't have the fucking work ethic or the what ability. Maybe she does now. But she didn't have it then. Now they're stopping at worrying about how do you look on camera as opposed to how are you going in the ring. Because the reality of the matter is a lot of these ladies, they already look the part.
Yeah.
Maybe not to that group of fans over there and maybe that group of fans over there, but to the rest of them watching, she looks the part. She can wrestle too. Fuck it. Let's go.
And then on to Raw,
Oh,
because I mentioned Raw to Travis, was it yesterday? And he's like, "Yeah, not much happened. There was a couple of highs, but other than that, it was pretty generic." Um, I think quite a lot happened on Raw. We had the ever-developing love triangle with Rhea Ripley, Liv
Oh.
Morgan, and Dominic. And as we said, Liv broke the internet.
Hey.
Well, I mean, her shorts broke the internet.
Her shorts broke the. It is summer, ladies and gentlemen. It is summer.
But in the Vince era, we probably would have hated this storyline. And to be honest, it probably would have been a lot cheesier in the Vince era.
I was waiting for that. It
But
would have been so bad under the Vince moniker. It would have been something of, God, how fucking terrible this could have been. It would have just been bad. Where like maybe fucking Liv is more of a fucking stalker than she
Yeah.
is just this hungry for the D, as we call it.
yeah, Daddy Domsday.
Hey,
I think it works so well because they've played it very well. Liv is getting the chance to play the heel, and she does that very well.
mm-hmm.
But Rhea is kind of teetering on the edge of turning full babyface. And they've somehow managed to make her the face in this situation and Liv the heel, even though, let's be honest, this whole feud was Rhea's fault. She injured Liv in the first place. And then Liv retaliated. And we hate her for it because it put Mommy on the shelf. But at the same, despite all of that, somehow Rhea Ripley is still the sympathetic one in this storyline.
She got cheated on.
And
Goddamn it.
yes, whether anything happened or
couldn't
not.
keep his dirty dangler in his pants.
And I highly suspect he still will.
Hey.
I don't think we're gonna get the happy ending that we got on Raw.
You don't think so?
I mean, if we go with the happy ending, then Rhea's gonna take the title back from Liv, and that just seems too soon. Plus, if Dominic does turn out to be a dirty little rat, then that's her exit from the Judgment Day.
I think that would be the happy ending. I mean, and again, and it's not, and I'm not trying to, like I said, like I say all the time, it's not a, I don't like the group, it's not a whatever, it's not a this, it's not a that. What it is to play this up in the real world at the end of the day, as society sees it, this is the guy's fault. And so who better to be punished in this whole thing than Dom? And the only way to really get punished with that is he goes through this entire thing and he's fucking tearing Liv apart and he fucking destroys any chance of her wanting to come back. And then Rhea says, "Good boy," and then just leaves.
Yeah.
Leaving him with absolutely nothing, then making her the super strong, independent woman. If you really want to play that story up, and hey, why not? We got a fucking women, fucking presidential candidate happening right now that has a strong possibility of actually winning. So why not play up the strong, independent woman? Why not? So it's working, but I mean, yeah, you could go a couple of different ways. It could be a thing where it's a non-happy ending, where she still stays Judgment Day, and whatever. You could spin it a handful of ways, but what I think it is you use this as a way to branch Rhea to her own entity, because she's kind of already been her own entity.
I'm kind of, if there is a split, I'm kind of hoping there's more of an equal split because I really like how well Damien and Rhea work together. And if anything,
Yes.
those two are both kind of being forced to turn face by the fans. Although they are kind of making Damien the face in this feud with Gunther. But as far as Finn, JD, and Carlito go, they're just like Dom's best friends who are enjoying all this chicanery that's going on with him.
Yep. That's just it. That's literally all it is. They're just the buddies that are tagging along. Well, that's funny. Oh, yeah, it looks hard to me.
Hey, he got a nude. That's cool.
That's right. Oh, that's cool.
But this is kind of why I think maybe it's time for the Judgment Day to break up, because it's become kind of a comedic group, whereas they started out dominating Raw. When they were at full strength and they all had titles and everything, they were running Raw.
Yeah, they were the dominant faction.
Yeah, and now, I mean, they're still the dominant faction because they're pretty much the only real faction on Raw. I mean, we got the Final Testament, but ass.
Mm-hmm.
They are very much getting the laughs and getting these funny scenes with Dominic and Carlito and everything. So I think if there is a split, Damien will side with Rhea. Because you see him every week also kind of laughing at Dominic's situation. Damien's loving it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, he's loving it, and as he should. As he should, because it's Dom put himself in this situation. He was telling him each and every week, bro, it's not that hard. Looks pretty hard to me. I had to do it again. But it's that's the truth though. He's literally trying to be the best friend and telling you, bro, you can't have both, bro. I'm trying to tell you this. It's gonna end bad. And he's like, yeah, whatever, doc. And just walks on by, and then, all right, whatever. And then the next week he tells me, I'm trying to tell you, bro, this is gonna end badly.
Yeah, but Damien's like, have you never seen Rhea? She will kill you.
Yeah, that's again. This is why he's just like, you want to play dumb? That's on you, bro.
And the other big thing on Raw was, of course, CM Punk is now officially cleared to return to action. So his match with Drew McIntyre is official for SummerSlam.
Official.
But they've added a little twist into it by making Seth Rollins the special referee. And as Beer stated, very 97 SummerSlam-esque with Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker.
That's a trivia question. Oh God. That part threw me for a loop. That's where I was like, hold on, wait, why? But I knew we were gonna get Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I knew this guy finally had to be cleared, and if not, I was like, there's no point of even trying this feud. But no, he's probably been cleared for a bit. Again, they've been probably just testing the waters on him. And then the great thing is he gets a whole it's not SummerSlam's next week, I believe, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so he's got plenty of, again, he would have had a little bit of extra time. I'm not gonna say Drew is a safe worker. He's a fucking massive sumbitch. So, and guys get hurt just because he's so goddamn massive. So it's not on purpose, I promise. Or at least he promises. But I think it's gonna be everything we've been expecting. It's been one of those ones that I want to say we called it, or you had called it, I want to say about 4 or 5 weeks back, the feud of the year so far. And it's literally been this thing that has just been fucking brewing and brewing and brewing. And, oh, they're finally going to come to head. Well, Punk's still injured. Son of a bitch. You know, oh, they're finally going to come to head. Drew's suspended. What the fuck's happening? Oh, they're finally going to fight. Fucking no. And you just want to kick your television, and out comes Adam Pearce, and you're like, finally. And
if anything, no, I think dragging it out has helped it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It almost a blessing in disguise that Punk was injured, and then Drew was injured for a week or two as well. So they were both on the shelf at some point. But we've had them consistently on TV. Maybe not every single week, but there's always been something keeping this storyline going, and they've managed to keep it going for 7 months since the Rumble. And now we're finally getting the payoff at SummerSlam.
As you said perfectly, they've been keeping this alive, even though it's been one guy on TV for a little bit, the other guy on TV a little bit, and a whole lot of social fucking media. Which then again, as we kept saying, it just brings the realism out. It makes this feud feel that much more real. And when you're anticipating it and you're keeping these guys apart, and the only real time that we can see them have any real fucking beef is on goddamn social media, it makes you want it more. Like this was done very well. I hope the match is as good as the buildup has been. If it's half as good as the buildup has been, this whole thing has been a success.
Yeah,
I hate Punk.
and and just hope that Punk doesn't get injured.
Don't do that. Knock on wood.
I mean, he had that 2 great matches with Joe actually. So
they were great.
It's not like he was getting injured, then coming back, then getting injured right away again. I think with AEW, the second time he got injured, he came back too soon.
Yes.
And then obviously All In happened, but he had banger matches in between those 2 injuries. So hope this is his first actual match in WWE since he came back. We don't count the Rumble because it's a big ass clusterfuck, but
Absolutely.
this is his first singles match in WWE in 10 years.
Yeah, and again, much looking forward to. But if I can, again, being the guy that just said it's not gonna go, I don't like Punk. Let's be honest for a second. If you take away the LA incident, you take away him jumping into the crowd, breaking his own foot, he probably would have gone on a hell of a fucking run. He probably wouldn't have gotten hurt again. He probably would have been okay. Well, at least he would have had a better run. Things would have looked differently. If he would have gotten hurt out of a match, I don't think he would have gotten anywhere near as much heat. But he jumped off the stage and twacked his foot on a goddamn railing like a goddamn jahoob. And it's like, how can we not make fun of you? How can you not be made fun of for that? Like, why are you doing this? Like, we get it. It was a spot to do in Chicago. Oh, great, Chicago. You did it in every fucking city. Every goddamn city. You could have been in goddamn Hoboken, New Jersey. Been like, here we go. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah,
I think if you take that one away, his whole run, it gets a little bit better. And yeah, now the anticipation of him being out from there and now here and the constant buildup. Yes, throw the fucking Rumble out into the constant buildup. Let's see how good this is, how good it can be.
I don't know if I'm happy or not that they've interjected Seth Rollins into it because, I mean, this should be between Drew and Punk. But at the same time, Seth was collateral damage.
Yes.
In the match with Priest. And, you know, when Punk first came back, we wanted him and Rollins. And that was the feud it seemed to be going with and was especially for WrestleMania. But obviously, Punk got injured. So we know we're going to get Punk and Rollins at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of hoping that would come after this feud, not sort of in the middle of it. But at the same time, Rollins potentially interfering does protect both of them because if you think about it, neither of them can really afford to lose.
That's exactly what I was about to get at. It's one of those situations where it's like, why are you here? You do. Oh, that's why. Because worst case scenario, nobody wins. And it's not a bad thing because Drew's got heat with Seth. Seth's got heat with Punk. It's a triangle, baby. It's the strongest form in all of it's the strongest shape in all of sports. I'm talking to you footies out there. You know it's gonna react. It's gonna happen. I mean, granted, I don't know how long you can hold that off and just have a fucking 3-way for whatever fucking dumbass reason. But I mean, that adds an extra dynamic. Will Seth get involved? If he does get involved, on whose favor will he get involved on? Does he just decide to just, not count the pin and just walk away? Does he? I'm gonna say who did that? I want to say Brett. Didn't Brett do that?
There was a chair shot with Brett.
That's right.
Shane McMahon was the king of counting to 2 and then just flipping him off.
Just fuck you, like, oh, you goddamn Shane ass fucker. But how to get heat. He knew how to get heat.
I'm kind of hoping Seth just calls it down the middle, but we get a little bit of tension because we're probably aiming for WrestleMania again for Punk and Rollins, and that's a long way away to keep a feud going. I mean, we've just been talking about how they've kept this feud going really well. But, you know, ideally, both Rollins and Punk are going to be healthy until Mania, so it's going to be a little trickier to keep it going that long.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit trickier. We'll see, though. We'll see how it goes. Well, you know what I'm mad curious about is what kind of fucking gimmick Seth Rollins is going to be wearing as referee. Like, is this going to be like this massive fucking like furry striped fucking shirt? You know what I mean?
He's going to come out full Cruella DeVille.
It's going to be the best. It's going to be the best.
All right. Speaking of the best, this is the best. Ryan Squared. We mentioned them a few months ago because the season 3 was supposed to come. I think it was May. And it never came. Unfortunately. So, God, when was season 2? A year, 2, maybe 3 years ago.
It's been a while.
So for a good few years now, we've been trying to take down Ryan Squared. In the first season, we tried to blow up their center of operations, and we blew up the wrong house.
Yep.
The second year, God, what did we do the second year? Oh, we sent Dazhausen to curse them, and it didn't work because they still managed to do a second season. Yeah, but obviously now we have succeeded. There is no Ryan Squared season 3. So what we're about to show you in 3 different parts. The third part is going to be next week at PromoSlam, but we're going to show you 2 parts this week. So here's part 1 of how we schemed to destroy Ryan Squared. Would you like some more coffee? No, I'm fine, thanks. Would you like some more coffee? No, thank you. Would you like some more coffee? This guy again. I'm fine for coffee, thank you. Hey, did you hear that Ryan Squared are back? What do you mean Ryan Squared are back? How? I have to ring Chad.
Hello?
Did you know Ryan Squared was back?
Oh, for fuck's sake, not that shit again.
Well, yeah, apparently they're doing a season 3.
A season 3? I didn't even know they did season 2. Why are you telling me this? Why are you bringing this to my attention?
Well, you used to work with them.
Yeah. We don't talk about that.
Well, I mean, we've tried to take them down twice on Max Wrestling now. And we failed both times. First time we tried to blow them up. Second time, I sent, what's his name, Dazhausen there, and he didn't do fuck all. And now they're back after a 2-year break?
So let me guess, you want my help?
In a nutshell, yes.
Okay, but we're going to need a third.
Yeah, you got a point there. Well, we can't use Moses, because his bomb didn't work. Actually, no, it did work, but he blew up the wrong house.
Can't really use Dazhausen again, can we?
No.
He was useless last time.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing. Yeah, I failed to curse. Well, he cursed him for about 2 years, but they're back now, so... Can't use Travis, because he's busy recovering from Mania and stuff. Plus, Phoenix doesn't fully trust him.
Have you ever seen Deadpool 2? You know they hold auditions to join the supergroup. Why don't we just do something similar?
Perfect.
What the fuck did you call me for? I'm sat right next to you.
I know, I just felt like the right moment.
Is this guy for real?
Next. No, you can't just blatantly rip off someone's gimmick. I don't believe it. It's him again. It's the same bloke.
Nah, he's better than the last guy.
Is that it? Did you do anything else?
No.
Right then, well, fuck off. Next.
Hopefully the next one's something better. No! Fuck off! Not that fucking dog again! Piss off! If I see that dog one more time, I swear, fucking get rid of that dog now.
Where's all these fucking dogs coming from? What is it, Britain's Got Talent?
Next week is our second biggest event of the year. We present the 9th annual PromoSlam on August 1st, featuring predictions for SummerSlam and a loaded card you do not want to miss.
That's right on that one. Will Ospreay is not the only one with a title rematch, because Chris Reed has a chance to reclaim his dual championship from Travis, the returning Walker Anderson, in a luck of the draw rules match. A card will be drawn before the match begins. Whichever the promo is closest to that number of the card will be the winner.
Yes, just like at Money Shot. Also, the television championship is on the line, as it's the podcast machine versus the self-declared new kingpin. Mike Larkin defends against Cypher in TV rules, which means promos must be at least 3 minutes long. The longest promo wins, but if you go over 3 minutes more than your opponents, you're disqualified.
TV rules for the TV title, gotta love it. The battle for control of Max Wrestling commences, as the captain will finally take on Anos Mascaras, that mask faster than his torch beer all year long, and he's taken over the brand. Can us remember, because this is a loser leaves Max Wrestling. You gain control, the loser goes home.
Putting it all on the line for all of you. Phoenix is also putting stuff on the line because he has been on a roll since winning the Knowledge Championship for the 6th time at Promomania, but now he has double jeopardy as he defends in a triple threat match against Ted P. De Niro and Travis the Walker Anderson, both champions in their own right. It's a champion showcase.
All gold is too shiny for me, and in the main event, speaking of people that should have some gold, Beer is chasing his Iron Bank cashing in his Iron Bank contract, and will challenge Ted P. De Niro for the Max World Championship. Can Beer finally win the big one, or is he destined to remain a bridesmaid?
Once again, it all goes down next week on August 1st, right here on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may be listening. Do not miss it. Go to maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com/promoslam for more information. And before we get there, it is time to hear from the challenger for the TV title. So let's hear what Cypher has to say to Mike Larkin before their match next week.
Midnight Raider, mastermind persuader, dictator, deflator, just that goes like vapor. Hair retarded cloak, disappearing like smoke. Independent when I vote, only hanging with the woke. Like, oh shit, man, where should we go? Maybe toward the mountains, yep, call me Banjo. That's my kind of people, man, from the fucking hills. Cause they do not play games, they don't try to fake well. That's what this nation needs, little old skill.
You know, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. And things seem to be getting crazier around here the more I see. And I have to say, sometimes it's not the crown that makes you the best. It's the people around you. And I will say this, at Money Shot, Moses brought out my best. It ain't about the crown no more. It's about me realizing that I've been reliant on the crown instead of my own skills. I still feel like the same person when I came into Max. I don't feel like I've exceeded the expectations. Well, my own expectations. I still feel like the new guy, the greenhorn. Still trying to find my footing and where I belong here. And I know I shouldn't feel like that. But at the same time, there's so much competition, so much going on, and I thrive to be a part of it all, but I can't, because I got other things to do first. Let's rewind, shall we? So, first and foremost, my list of accolades in Max ain't really long or illustrious like, you know, the greats of Max. Because when you talk about the greats, you talk about the Captain, Moses, Larkin, Travis, and others that followed suit. I'll admit I wasn't ready for the knowledge title. I eluded that one because Phoenix is a 6-time champion. 6-time champion. And as much as me and Phoenix rivalry goes like peanut butter and jelly, I simply was not ready. So I closed that door to find another one opening. King of the Mic, inaugural dual champion. I came up short against Beer. He beat me. But through it all, the mercenary Chris Reed, he did it. He came in here, took Max by storm, delivered every fucking promise he said he was going to do, and became the inaugural dual champion. Congratulations, Chris. I don't see that title in my future, but trust me, one of these days, maybe down the road, I will come for that. But not right now. Which leads me to now. At PromoSlam, I got a machine. A prospect. A podcast legend. Excuse me, podcast legend. Michael C. Larkin. It's been 3 years since me and Larkin last faced off, and it was in a promo exhibition. And we were different men at the time. But here we are 3 years later, evolved, and now fighting for the TV championship. If there was ever somebody I was going to face for the TV championship, I'm glad it's Larkin. I mean, Chad would have found a loophole for me anyway, somehow, but it's okay. I got this. I'm ready. Because I'm no longer reliant on the promises of a crown. I'm going to rely on my skills and my skills only to be better than I ever have been. And I don't care what forces at be or at hand are trying to control what. Every one of you better stay the hell out of my way. Because not only will I knock down the door, I'll build something on top of it. Don't consider this a warning. Consider this a promise. Because who knows? Somewhere down the line, I may put this on the line again. And whether it be Anon, Teddy, the Demonesque, or the many faces of the Captain, I don't care who I gotta fight. As long as I got this, my heart, my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul, you're not taking shit away from me. So what's understood doesn't need to be explained. And if you don't get it, then it's probably not for you to get.
lost control of Max Wrestling to Anon Mascaras, and Anon Mascaras has screwed people over. Anon Mascaras became a thorn in Moses Marquez's side last year.
He was fucking you the whole goddamn time.
He became a thorn in Beer's side, and now he's become a thorn in mine.
The captain is no longer in control. For reasons only known between he and I, surrendered full control of Max Wrestling to me.
Take control of your ship or pass the reins down to somebody who actually has a fucking spine.
Now, Phoenix, you know fully well that I couldn't do anything about Anon Mascaras because I made a deal with him.
But you see, it was necessary.
But you are right about one thing. I do need to take control of Max Wrestling back again, and that's what brings me to this point. Anon Mascaras. You have spent the last 7 months pissing everybody off, especially one of my oldest friends, Mr. Beer.
The doomsday clock is ticking.
By my calculations, brings me to PromoSlam. I hereby challenge Anon Mascaras to a match at PromoSlam. Winner has full control of Max Wrestling. The loser leaves Max Wrestling for good. Welcome back to the Cap and Mo Show. This is your captain. He is El Jefe. Speak his name and he appears. Make sure you are liking and subscribed on YouTube. Follow us everywhere, and for all the information that you need, go to maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com.
It's just a click away, and you got to check it out. Still to come, we hear from Mike Larkin as he responds to Cypher. And we, of course, recap SmackDown and AEW. But first, let's go back to the Captain Chad's quest to catch Ryan Square.
Hey, did you hear that Ryan Squared are back? What do you mean Ryan Squared are back? How? Did you know Ryan Squared was back?
Oh, for fuck's sake, not that shit again.
We've tried to take him down twice on Max Wrestling now, and we failed both times.
Okay, but we're gonna need a third.
What is it you do?
I'm Wolverine.
Have you got any claws?
No, I don't have the claws yet. I don't have the claws yet.
You're Wolverine without the claws?
Yep.
It's not fucking good then, is it?
I don't think that's gonna work. I don't really think we can use Marvel characters. We might get sued for copyright or something.
We can't really have product placement, can we?
Domino hoo-hoo?
Coconut water.
Gordon Street. I once knew a girl that lived on Gordon Street. A long time ago. When I was a young man.
Next.
You two racist! Your hairline is back! Crap hairline!
Brian, is that you? You were bald last time I saw you.
Not Brian.
No, I'm pretty sure it is Brian.
It's Brian!
It's Brian!
Are you Brian?
Brian, how you been? How you been? It's been a while!
I thought you were in Benidorm.
I thought he was in prison.
Maybe
Explains the knife.
Maybe he's in prison in Benidorm.
Ah!
Next.
I killed you.
No, next. Audition, not next line. Next. Well, he was a bit weird, wasn't he?
Yeah. Security! Security, please! Oh, not another fucking dog! Not another fucking dog!
Hang on, the filter didn't work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, my man Travis the Walker Anderson is out this week. So, I will be capping the smack. So let's get into it. To open SmackDown, Cody Rhodes talks about his relationship with Randy Orton and his guilt from last week's attack. He's soon interrupted by A-Town Down Under, blaming Rhodes for Jacob Fatu attacking Theory last week. Rhodes takes the bait and attacks and gets the assist from the boxing champion Trevor Crawford at ringside, who hands Rhodes a steel chair to help clear the ring. Backstage, Rhodes asks SmackDown GM Nick Aldis for a handicap match against Theory and Waller, and of course Nick Aldis says no because it's a handicap match. Are you fucking madman? But Cody Rhodes says he does tell him he can find a tag team partner and they can have a tag team match instead. Goddamn Nick Aldis, why can't you just let him have a triple threat? You savage bastard. Andrade, in his return tour, if you will, to WWE, defeats Carmelo Hayes with the message. And the message is, you lose. After an earlier argument before the show, Bianca Belair with Jade Cargill defeated Chelsea Green with Piper Niven, as Green rolls up Belair with a handful of tights, but Belair reverses after the match, elbow fire, and Isla Dawn appears on the Tron to taunt Belair and Jade, hinting at a match contract signing. So it looks like they will be going to blows for the women's tag team championships. In a follow-up contract signing, L.A. Knight is finally joined by Logan Paul. After back and forth shots, Paul signs the contract before the two begin to shove each other. Paul attacks him from behind, almost receives the BTE, but slides out of the ring, slides away, and saves his own chin for right now. Speaking of chin, Minchin defeats Tiffany Stratton thanks to Bayley stopping Stratton from using her briefcase. Bayley then brawls with Nia Jax as Meacham rolls up Tiffany Stratton to pick up the dub. Cody Rhodes and his mystery partner, the man known as Kevin Owens, go on to defeat the team of A-Town Down Under, with Owens dropping Waller with a stunner and a crossroads onto Theory. But after the match, the Bloodline attack Rhodes and Owens. They tried to fight them off, but Rhodes ends up going through the announce table. Owens gets thrown into the ring post with a chair around his neck, mind you, and then the Bloodline stand tall amongst the chaos to end SmackDown. Now, normally this is the time of the show where Travis would kick into me, but it's more of a we're going to switch some gears and we're going to go from SmackDown to Rampage. Let's see if we can do this in a cool way. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Looks good to me.
This is Rampage, baby. This is the show that y'all been waiting on. Adrenaline pumping your chest. This is Rampage, yeah. This is Rampage.
All right, let's get into the Rampage report. So, the conglomeration defeated the United Kingdom as Orange Cassidy ends things with an orange punch to Taven. Backstage, Saraya is determined to get a match for All In because, she'll be home back in the UK, back in England. But Chris Jericho and Big Bill defeat the Outrunners, whoever the fuck those Jahoobs are, with Chris Jericho doing as much minimal work as possible because that's Chris Jericho. After the match, Minoru Suzuki sent a clear message to Jericho on his way to the ring. And then we get Minoru Suzuki versus Andy Williams, and the Murder Grandpa beats him with a sleeper following the pile driver. I want to say the gotcha pile driver. Backstage, more conglomeration. They go over the rules for being a member before Briscoe announces that Ishii will face Roderick Strong on Collision. We get Chris Statlander squashing Sidney Winnell, another Jahoob with the Saturday Night Fever. And in the main event of Rampage, the Lucha Bros defeat Private Party with Fear Factor to Mark King. Or Mark Quinn. I don't know why I almost said King. Or Queen. Mark Quinn. Fucking the whole thing up today. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's flip this all around. No more WWE today. We already talked about Raw, so let's keep on the AEW train. And let's switch lanes to the Collision course.
Alright, so I'm just covering Collision this week, which kicked off with Darby Allin defeating the Beast Mortos with a coffin drop, and after the match, Darby talks shit about the Young Bucks and challenges Perry for the TNT title at All In. Backstage, Billy Gunn fires up the Acclaimed for Blood and Guts, Hikaru Shida defeated Sky Blue with ref stoppage after a crossbody to the outside clearly injures Sky Blue, which has now been revealed as a broken ankle, unfortunately. Backstage, Lance Archer is destroying a bunch of people to remind us that he still works there. Also backstage, Chris Jericho looks ahead to his match with the Murder Grandpa, Minoru Suzuki, on Dynamite. Rey Fenix defeated Tony Nese with a frog splash. Tony Schiavone speaks with FTR in the ring. Cash Wheeler puts over Tommy Billington before they set their sights on the tag team titles at All In, so we may be getting another match between FTR and the Young Bucks. Hikaru Shida is annoyed that she didn't get the fight that she came for and challenges Britt Baker to a match on Dynamite. Roderick Strong defeated Tomohiro Ishii with a running knee. After the match, the Undisputed Kingdom tried to attack Ishii, but Kyle O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe made the save. Hologram made his debut and defeated Gringo Loco with a portal bomb. Backstage, Dustin Rhodes formed an alliance with the Von Erichs. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Thunder Rosa in a lumberjack match after Taya Valkyrie hands her turnbuckle post to Blast Rosa while the referee is distracted by all the chaos that's happening outside between the lumberjacks or lumberjills. And in the main event, the Patriarchy defeated Bullet Club Gold to become the new AEW Trios champions after Mother Wayne sprays perfume in Juice Robinson's face and Christian Cage hits the kill switch. The Patriarchy then celebrate as the lights flicker to tease an appearance from the House of Black. Now let's keep it with AEW and talk last night on Dynamite.
All right, so no badass intro from Beard this week, but that's okay. That's all right. So let's get into last night on Dynamite, and it did start a little. This wasn't too bad, but then the rest of it, we'll get into it. Dynamite actually opens with Will Ospreay rushing to leave to the hotel, but one of his tires has a knife in it, and he's just like, "What the hell happened here?" So he looks at his Alex Marvez. "You have a car?" He's like, "Well, yeah. How did I get it? Give me your keys." And then he fucking hands him his bag like he's the goddamn bag boy, and they fucking take off. And of course, Marvez has to do this. He's like, "Have you ever driven in America?"
Nope.
Come on, bro. Come on. You can't trust Will Ospreay.
You know what? Will should have said something like, "I played some GTA."
Yeah, like just one cheeky line would have been the fucking gut buster of them all. God, Will missed opportunity. It's all good though. MJF fires up some super personal shots at Will Ospreay, talking about the passing of his grandmother, you sick bastard, before throwing the International Championship in the trash and unveiling the American Championship. I don't think this thing's gonna hang out for a while. Will Ospreay finally arrives looking for blood and announces that TK has granted him a rematch at All In. So we were expecting this one, and we're getting this one, and it's gonna be in Wembley. Holy shit, it's going to be fucking something fierce. Backstage, the Elite are found standing all over all around, I should say, a fallen Christopher Daniels. Going to say fallen angel. As they win,
Yeah, literally,
as they win the advantage in blood and guts and a double-headed coin, because the fucking Bucks got to cheat, because that's how they do. That's how they got to have it. After getting choppered halfway to hell, Chris Jericho defeats Minoru Suzuki with the Judas Effect. This match was fucking just god-awful. But I've always said Suzuki matches either kill or they're complete shit. But after the match, Suzuki then chokes out Jericho with a sleeper before then getting attacked by Big Bill and Brian Keith. And of all the fucking people, Katsuyori Shibata comes out to make the save and clear the ring. It looks like it'll be Shibata versus Chris Jericho for the World Championship at All In. At least that's going to be my guess. So let's go backstage. Renee is there interviewing Willow Nightingale, but Chris Statlander attacks Stokely Hathaway, then challenges Willow to face Chris at an eliminator match next week for the shot at the CMLL Women's Championship. That's a belt that Willow has right now. Also backstage, I don't know. This gave me a very, very bad feeling because this motherfucker has only screwed people over in the past. Yeah. So God only knows what he'll do to Bryan Danielson. Jeff Jarrett tells Danielson that he was disappointing. He was eliminated from the Owen Hart Cup, but he was proud of Bryan winning, and he was there to raise his hand, and he hopes He's going to go all the way, all in at Wembley. I was going to say all in at Wembley. So he's pulling on his side, but there's just something about this just gives me the Jeff Jarrett feels like he's going to screw B-Dry over. And if this is their way of retiring B-Dry, how dare you? How dare you?
It's like Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle.
Yeah, please tell. So Britt Baker makes her return to the ring, and dear God, does that ring rush show a poor thing. But she ends up defeating Hikaru Shida with the lockjaw. After the match, Mercedes Moné cuts the celebration short. Still refuses to face Britt Baker because she's a skid. But from behind, a new, I want to say last time I saw her, she was blonde. But Camila, former NWA Women's Champion, re-debuts and takes Britt down. So everybody that was lost, which this crowd was lost for a lot of shit, it's Camila, it's NWA. Do some history.
Rick Shithouse.
That's right. Backstage, Christian Cage and the Patriarchy celebrate their trios title wins. Cage lets Nick Wayne speak for himself ahead of the Royal Rampage match. But Wayne goes up to Kip Sabian, who looks jacked for some goddamn reason, gets right in his face and just says, "Oh, you're going to be in the Royal Rampage? Well, so am I, and I'm going to eliminate your ass. Come get your kid, goddamn Christian. His kid's out of fucking line." Pac defeats Bear Bronson. His name's Boulder now. Fucking stupid. With the Brainbuster in a relatively quick match. What'd you guys do to Bear Country? Why'd you ruin Bear Country? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Killing me. Backstage, we hear from Team AEW, and good God, is there fucking tension within this whole group. I mean, there's fucking the Acclaimed are dying to get the tag team titles back. It looks like Darby and fucking Swerve are getting ready to go to goddamn blows. It's a whole clusterfuck. And in comes Mark Bristol. Hey man, calm down. He's got to play the fucking peacemaker. Of all the people, the guy that can't form a sentence properly, he's got to be the peacemaker, the conglomeration. So
I really think Anthony Bowens was cracking up because the whole time Mark Briscoe was talking, he was just like,
it was both of them. The Acclaim could not keep a straight face around Mark Briscoe, and I cannot fucking blame them. I can't blame him. He's too much. The conglomeration is too much. Oh God, I love Mark Briscoe. Backstage, actually, that was already what we heard. So the Glamour, Mariah May in this killer outfit and a cool intro, comes out, absolutely squashes some Jahoob. I want to say her name was Caitlin Alexis. I was like, that's two first names. That's how you know you're a Jahoob. Yep. Finishes things off with the Storm Zero, just literally to perfection, by the way. Cheeks on cheeks, if you like it. After the match, Tony Storm's music plays. It was a rib from Mariah. Then Tony Storm appears. Anyway, they get into a brawl. There's a breakup, and Tony grabs the microphone and says, "I hope you're prepared to die, because I am." And so the TSK has gone absolutely rampant with the idea that this should be the real AEW deathmatch. They would bleed for this company. Think of an exploding ring. Like, think of all the crazy, quirky shit from Japan. They would do it, and it would be stupendous.
Tony Storm's amazing.
She fucking really is. She truly, truly is. And then we get into Blood and Guts, which is the last hour of the show. Begins with Jack Perry and Darby Allin. This kid has been throwing chairs recently. It's like his cool spot. And I don't know what the fuck with this one, a little extra whip on it or something, but this one came in hot. It was one of the most dangerous chair throws I've ever fucking seen. Thank God fucking Darby's, alive. And then they had this like case that they were throwing, and I think that they were literally throwing this case just so Taz could say, "Oh, case to the face," just so he could say case to the face, like because he said it like 7 or 8 times. So, but a slow Dynamite that ended pretty good. You could tell this crowd was truly waiting for Blood and Guts. And once they were all about the show now. So it was like, okay, it evened itself out. So we'll see how it goes. I want to say we have a whole month until we got All In.
3 or 4 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's 3 weeks after PromoSlam, I think. SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
After the slams.
There it is. After the slams.
Yeah, the Blood and Guts was nuts. That wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it did. It was chaos. We got the obligatory thumbtacks in the mouth spot.
I hate it.
Yeah, it always just makes me tense up a little bit. We had the barbed wire boards.
Eh.
I think it was Bowens who got squashed between them.
Yeah. Honestly, poor guy's probably never done this in his whole fucking career.
Never even touched barbed wire.
He's like, oh shit, what's that? Ah.
Hangman and Swerve very much still blood rivals, and
Oh.
I liked the spot where Hangman was kind of a loose cannon, and even the Bucks couldn't control him. They had to threaten to fire him before he even got in the cage.
That's the point, though. That is the fucking point. As I have said before, Hangman is slowly, if not already there. He is Stan Hansen. He is this era Stan Hansen. You couldn't control him if you wanted to. He's a fucking loose cannon.
Yeah, and the referees wouldn't ring the bell because obviously Swerve was still handcuffed to the cage outside. And obviously you need everybody in the cage before the match begins, and you just hear fucking Matthew shouting, "I'm an EVP, ring the bell."
Oh, yeah, I'm a goddamn EVP, ring the bell. Loved it.
But it was Darby who got the win technically by forcing Matthew to quit by threat of fire.
Well, yeah,
and you just got Jack Perry fucking doing a whole Jesus thing on the other side of the cage.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Anytime I see Darby and I just see like stuff, I know it's gonna get bananas because Darby is just a fucking menace. I mean, we had the thumbtack skateboard how many times in a row? Like, yeah, he's a sick fucker. And then of course, then you have him against the Bucks, who are sick fuckers in their own right. So, just sick fuckery all around. But this was everything I had. I don't want to say everything I expected. It was a lot more than I expected. I did not, honestly though, too. I went into this week totally not remembering that Blood and Guts was this week. So good on AEW for getting me on that one. The blood feud between Swerve and Hangman is just, and again, this was another TSK topic. As much as I am dying to, I'll see it all day, every day. You can show it to me twice on Sundays. Fuck it. I don't know if everybody else feels the same way. And it's not like we don't want Hangman versus Swerve, or, you know, people think it's that bad or whatever the hell. I just feel like it's one of those things where isn't there somebody else Swerve could face? You know what I mean? Aren't there a giant pool of guys for him to face? Instead, we might go backwards for Hangman.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like we've already had the payoff, but the feud's still going. I'm kind of thinking like this feud doesn't need the title, so maybe Hangman costs Swerve the title against B-Dry.
I could dig that.
Because I still think it's a little too soon for Swerve to drop the title at All In, but at least if it's because of Hangman, there's shenanigans. It's not a clean loss.
Again, if you give him a reason, so it's not just you beat him. Like, why would you beat him? If you gave it a reason, and again, is it not the next week they have All Out?
Yeah.
So literally, we got one pay-per-view, and then the next one was, I want to say it's within a week. That next following Saturday or Sunday, we have another one, and I think that's perfect because you showed in this that there is obvious strong ass tension between the two guys. He can end up costing Swerve the match. B-Dry's the new AEW champion. You know, fucking fulfilling the prophecies, if you will, and immediately go to All Out. And you know what? Again, I just mentioned the death match. These guys almost went there. Why not go there?
Yeah.
I keep saying it, not saying like you have to do it. I'm just saying it's like of all the ones that finally need it or could use it, this would be it.
Yeah, it was originally the week after, just like last year, but they moved it to 2 weeks after, so there's a little breather in between.
But again, even a 2 week breather, you can stew for 2 weeks about having somebody fuck you over. Hell yeah, you can make it work.
But like you said, it was a slow pace, and then of course we got some blood and guts. We still had a lot of good stuff in the first half. Pax looking more like a monster.
Yes.
I think we saw a little, not enough of Camille. She could have done a little more than just a boot to the face and then a torture rack.
Yeah, but I mean, then what else more would you have had her do? Because I've been thinking that exact same thing, and I'm like, besides giving her own entrance, there's not much more you could have done. I think it's the idea was either I feel like this was for the smart fans. You know exactly who this is, so pop. Except they were in a place where they weren't gonna pop, even if they knew something was cool happening or whatever the fuck. They were just like, "Are we gonna get to the cool shit now?" Or, which is fine, but again, it's bad for television. I don't. But to talk about Camila for a second, we were always talking about bringing in female stars and why Stephanie Vacker ended up going to WWE and the roster being super bloated. She is not a megastar, by no means. Can she be one? Sure. Can you get her there? Absolutely. But she's not one now. She does not require the attention of one now. You can absolutely have her build herself in a Ring of Honor and Rampage and Collision. No problem.
Yeah.
So this is a decent little depth signing.
She was one of the biggest stars in NWA in a time where nobody's watching it.
Yes.
Unfortunately. Sorry to say, Mr. Corgan. But it's true. NWA is really falling off the radar, and only the very, very, very hardcore fans are still watching it.
I was just going to say, I was like, you have to be the hardest of the hardcore. And then I believe they went off of YouTube. They're on TV now, but I don't even know where.
That's bad when you can find TNA and not NWA.
Whew. What a time we're living in. What a time.
All right, so we heard from Cypher earlier on ahead of his match with Mike next week for the TV title. Mike Larkin also has a little something to say to Cypher before they clash. So let's find out what the podcast machine has to say in response to Cypher.
Talk to me, champ.
It feels good to be a champion again. 3 years ago around this time, I got the most heartbreaking news of my life. My mother, better known to the Max Wrestling community as Mama Lark, was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer 3 weeks before my first encounter with Cypher at PromoSlam 2021. And Corey, I owe you an apology because I was not in my right frame of mind. My mind was elsewhere, and I couldn't give you the performance that I know that I could have given you in that bout. And quite frankly, that bout shouldn't have happened. But, much like you said, we adapt and we grow, and here we are 3 years later at PromoSlam for the Max Wrestling Television Championship. Corey, I could not be more prouder of what you've obtained, accomplished, and achieved here at Max Wrestling. I have tons of respect for you, not just as a competitor, but as a man. You and I are a lot alike. We're both creative, we're both entertaining, and we're both very passionate about what we do and who we are as artists. But here's where we differ. You're good, but I'm great. You see, I'm no stranger to PromoSlam. At PromoSlam 2019, I defeated Travis the Walker Anderson, Robert Davis, and probably one of the most vile, evil, and downright prickish human beings to ever step foot on God's green earth, David Gillum, better known as the Butcher. And if I can defeat and I can survive him, then what the hell do you think I'm going to do to you? Am I nervous? A little. I get nervous before each and every one of my bouts. Am I confident? Yes. Am I capable of putting on the performance of a lifetime and not going into that good night because losing is not an option? Fear is not in my vocabulary. You damn right. On that fateful day, the 1st of August, you and I are going to dance. But please believe, this ain't going to be no slow jam. What is it that you said? If there is anyone that you could face for the Max Wrestling Television Championship, you are glad that it is Mike Larkin, the podcast machine. Well, Corey, next week, you will not be glad that you came. See you soon, buddy.
Bellend, you're a Bellend, mate. Look, Bellend 1, Bellend 2, big veiny Bellend over here.
All right, let's put some Bellend points on the board. Who we got this week?
All right, so I want to be one of those people this week, and we're gonna take all this and we're gonna go political. So all you fucking jerk offs out there that are what are the shits I've been reading on the internet? Kamala Harris is a hoe. She's not gonna do any better because she's a black lady. I don't know. So I was like, I don't understand how somebody in our age demographic who was in the middle of one of the hardest states to prosecute in my state being California, and all this other stuff, being pretty much the vice president, or pretty much being everything fucking Biden wasn't. I'm still not convinced she's the greatest candidate, but as I've always said, I will take anybody over a rapist any day of the week. So for all you fucking Trumpers out there, and I'm sure there's a bunch, and then that means we lose some viewers. I don't know if y'all can give a shit. Y'all get a whopping 25 points. You guys get to hang out on the board on the low side. If you're going to follow politics, make it about the betterment of the country, not how you feel about an individual.
And also, if anybody's like, what does this have to do with wrestling? Trump's a Hall of Famer.
He is in the WWE Hall of Fame. So, and then another one, who do I got else on the board this week? Oh yeah, I wanted to do this because TSK got me, because I did not realize the double-sided coin until they informed me. So goddamn Matthew Jackson, you rat bastard, you, for your double-sided coin, you get a point. I was just like, you fuck.
When Chad listens to this, I hope he's laughing, because there's a very well-known double-headed coin gag in Only Fools and Horses, which Chad and I both love, and as does half of the British public.
And again, he hit me with the double-sided coin. So again, the double-sided coin and I have a lot of
that's where it came from.
Each other. So you got to keep the story going. You got to keep it going. Other than that, you know me, I'm not really trying to dig for any negativity within the E right now, and I'm really also not seeing any. People are loving what's going on with the love triangle that is Rhea, Dom, and Liv. I didn't really get any real animosity from AEW, even though, like I said, last night we had a lackluster re-debut, and the show pretty much emphasized around blood and guts. So, shocking you people haven't gone bananas, but good job.
Yeah. A good thing that we didn't really have enough time for shit Mark say this week, because even though I haven't even looked, I don't think there was much to dish out.
Like we say, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Yeah. Sometimes they're just ugly.
Hey.
But now for the flip side, let's find out who has been bruv-ish this week and put some points on the bruv board.
Rub it up.
Brother.
Instantly, 20 points for Liv Morgan, 10 for each cheek. How could I not give her points this week? It's probably the wrestling gift of 2024.
Oh yeah, it's going to be.
And I'm sure that's exactly what she was going for.
And that's
like,
good job, Liv. Good job.
I got the women's title. Almost got Dominic. If I can get anything from this year, it's to become a gift.
Ta-da!
And the camera placement, they knew exactly what they were doing. Get that big wide shot.
Again, this is welcome to Triple H land. Welcome to this is what we used to do in the Attitude Era.
Kevin Dunn would have shot that turn from like 30 different angles.
Yep, it would.
And cut each time.
Every every eighth of a turn, it would have been a cut. Oh God, thank God.
And eventually, you're like, hey, I missed a cheek.
Oh yeah, and then they're gonna make her turn around for no reason, just cause. Like, oh, thanks, So now I don't feel like it. I'm already feeling like a perp. Thanks a lot.
I didn't even realize what was happening to me.
Mm-hmm. It's all your fault.
As you notice, people as well, that turn has also made it into the Max Wrestling intro this week, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
Even though it's sped up. Sorry. We got a lot of clips to fit into 39 seconds for that intro, so give me a break on that one. Who else I gotta give points to? Oh shit. Darby Allin.
Oh.
Because shit, he's not even on the board yet. Not just for being the guy that technically got the win in Blood and Guts, but I've just realized in recent weeks, like, he's always been over, but he is just monstrously over in AEW. He gets the loudest pops every night.
He is Sting.
He's mini Sting.
I think I've literally said it just like that before. I was like, this is why they do this. He is Sting. He is mini Sting. He is their Sting. He is and remember, Sting used to be a crazy bastard. He used to do fucking jump off his shit. He used to be an athletic motherfucker, like the whole shebang. Maybe not fucking deathbound like this crazy fuck, but you know, he used to be over the top. And that is what Darby is now. So it's hitting on that cylinder. I'm glad there's lots of Darby love. Yeah, he deserves some points. That's for sure.
Yeah, so 20 points to Darby.
Hell yeah.
I was going to give him 10, but surprisingly, he's not on the board yet. So let's get him on the board good and strong with 20 points.
Do it.
I'll give 5 points to Punk for finally getting cleared.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Well,
I
it took like
don't
9
think there's
months.
anybody else. Oh, I got to give points to Tony Storm just for being Tony Storm. And the facial expressions, second to none.
Are you prepared to die? Yes.
So another 10 points to Tony Storm. Which none of this affects the leader of the board, who currently is still Cody Rhodes, sitting comfortably on 80.
Attaboy, Cody.
Followed by Britt Baker on 60. She got 60 points in 1 week, I think.
Oh, trust me, bro. She's
Maybe
gonna
2
be coming
weeks.
back soon. Don't you trip.
All right. Well, like we said, this is the Go Home show, the Promo Slam, which is next week. Don't miss it again. Thank you for joining us this week. I hope we rocked you harder than Jack Perry's chair throw.
No. God damn, that's hard.
Before we close this up, let's find out what Host Mo and the TSK have for you Pencil Neck Geeks this week with a roundup of Click This.
All right, so it's literally the same as last week. We're still, so the copyrights are done with, re-editing is done with. It's just re-uploading. So again, I like to do these things on a day where Max can have its own day. So look out Friday, Saturday for the late ass episodes of some kicking in with the TSK, the Forbidden Door review, Money in the Bank review, and then immediately coming back that following week with, again, I will be live on TikTok, at least my part. So that'll be a thing for SummerSlam. So that'll happen there. And then, of course, the Max Footy Pod has to happen. We're 3 weeks away from the start of the Premier League season. Spurs are already doing their thing. Soccer, as we call it in the States here, is already full underway. The fucking Olympics have begun. So that means there's fucking soccer there too. It's everywhere, folks. It's everywhere. But as I said, and as I will continue to state until somebody tells me that they don't want to hear about this, my first episode will be surrounding the U.S. men's national team, who they should bring in as a head coach. One giant name. Granted, I hate who he's played for, but I think he would do fantastic for us. Has come on, and to make sure y'all have to click this with anticipation. The name is Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry could maybe, if we pray real hard and pay him a lot of money, could maybe be the next head coach of the U.S. men's national team and lead us to a World Cup. I really doubt that part, but the only way to find all that out is if you got to check out all the lovely socials. Follow us on the evil X Machine, formerly known as Twitter, if you want to get funky like that. At Max Wrestling UK, Captain 512, SMR Podnet, and at Max Football Pod. Check out the beautifully done website, maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com. There it is. Hit the follow button, subscribe button, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, the whole shebiggity. Remember, following on TikTok means you're going to be live for any pay-per-views I go live for. Following us on Facebook means you can be just like the man Chris Reed, the former dual champion, the now King of the Mic, this year's King of the Mic, who was a former EVP, then MVP of the what? The Facebook group. You get a part of that, you can get a part of this, and then before you know it, maybe, just maybe, you could be a champion here in Max 2.
Damn right. As for me, there is a new episode of Throne Zone coming again.
Yes.
Should be tomorrow. As DC and I look at the last 2 episodes, which was 5 and 6 of this season of House of the Dragon. Also, hope you have been enjoying the EP, which came out also last Friday, which I then announced the full album is coming in a month. So 23rd of August. And I've also renamed the project to Captain's Revenge for obvious reasons.
Yes.
So you can check out the EP now, and also follow that X account at Caps Revenge Rock.
Love it.
With that said, we will see you next week for PromoSlam 2024. 4 huge title matches and a battle for the future of Max Wrestling. Do not miss it. So we must bid you adieu now. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night.
Rocker is back.